Hello everyone, my name is Aaron and this is the Game Day Hour. Did you miss me? I've been gone for a little bit. We had midterms recently, so I was not here. But I'm not back with football content. Again, if you want to keep seeing football content, go to TikTok/TGD Hour. That is my TikTok. It'll also be in the description below if you want to see football content. This week is dedicated to the NBA. The NBA starts this week. Tuesday, we have two games. The Lakers and the Nuggets on one, the Warriors and the Suns on the other. There are going to be a 3-part video. So there's 3 episodes coming out this week. One has to do with every standing in the East, which is today's episode. Then you got the West. And then you got my fantasy basketball, which I'll be in and out. And if you want to see a little bit more, then go to TikTok. But as for now, we're going to be looking at every team in the East and ranking them based on what I think their record is going to be from 15 all the way to the number 1 spot. Now, one more thing before we get started. Basically, what I'm going to do with each team is look at their last year record, their 3 best players, which is judged by NBA 2K ratings, and the record I think they're going to have this year. So, let's get started. The Game Day Hour is back. Our number 15 team, the worst in the East, is the Detroit Pistons. They were it last year. I think they're going to be it again. They don't have a good team. Last year they went 17-65. There's only one bright spot, and that is Cade Cunningham. Their other 2 good players based on 2K ratings was Bojan Bogdanovic and Jaden Ivey. Those are the other 2. I know Bojan, I do not know Jaden. But I definitely do know Cade Cunningham, and he is on his way to becoming an all-star. And, I mean, look, I want, better things for the Pistons, but this lineup they have is not going to get it done. They are going to end the year off 19-63 with the worst record not only in the East, but the entire NBA, which will give you a little bit of an insight on the West, which is the next episode. But again, I don't see good things happening for Detroit. So they're number 15. Number 14 is going to come as a little bit of a shock, but I have the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors lost Fred VanVleet in the offseason, and I thought he was an extremely vital piece to that team. They do have a pretty good young lineup. You still have Pascal Siakam, and you also have Scottie Barnes and OG Anunoby. Those are their 3 best players, which is good, but at the same time, there's just not a lot of buzz going on in Toronto, and that makes me pretty concerned. They will be much better than the Pistons. I mean, last year they went 41-41, but this year I have them going 25-57. It's a little bit of a stretch, but I think Toronto is going to be on the low this year. At number 13, we have the Charlotte Hornets. They have great young talent with good veterancy, but the question is health. That's going to play a part in a lot of these teams, is can they stay healthy? And by they, I mean LaMelo Ball. Can he stay healthy? I mean, when he plays, that team is generally a, what would you like to call him? A play-in team to a low, just out of the playoff team? But I don't know. I just think that despite them having these good pieces, I don't have much expectation for them. Last year, they went 27-55. This year, I expect them to go 28-54. Just a tiny bit better, but that's just one game. At number 12, we have the Washington Wizards. And, you'd think, oh, wouldn't the Wizards be on the low of lows? And I would say, in a way, they are. I think that they're going to have a worse record than they had last year. I mean, last year they went 35-47. Based on the 2K ratings, their 3 best players are Kyle Kuzma, Jordan Poole, who they just acquired from the Warriors this offseason, and Tyus Jones. That's a pretty small ball lineup, but you lost Porzingis and you lost Bradley Beal. Those are some two big pieces that you lost. I believe you're going to go 33 and 49, Wizard. I mean, there is definitely a future there. It's just maybe give them some years to develop, Poole and Kuz, if they can, get it together. But I don't think this year they're going to have it together. So I have them as the 12th seed, per se. Number 11 is the Orlando Magic. Now, despite me thinking that the Wizards, the Hornets probably have better lineups overall than the Magic just have great young talent, and it's developing, I would say, at a pretty good rate. Let's see, last year they went 34 and 48. But I am really having my eyes keened on Paolo Banchero. I think he is going to have an electrifying season for what is, the Magic norm, I guess you would say. But I think they only do one game better. I mean, the other two players that were based on 2K were Franz Wagner and Wendell Carter Jr. I think this team is going to do one better and go 35 and 47. And those are the teams in the East that will miss the entire playoffs. Now we have play-in teams. Coming in at number 10, we have the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers last year were 35 and 47. That was a pretty underwhelming record. But there's going to be some big development. Their three best players are Tyrese Halliburton, Miles Turner, and even though there was three guys at an 80 overall, I'll have to give it to Bruce Brown because of defense. Big acquisition from the Denver Nuggets, who won the championship, and he was a vital piece, so good thing for the Pacers to have him. This year, I think they're going to go 40 and 42, and those are kind of the records you're going to get when it comes to the play-in. You're not going to get outstanding records, but this is where I think they belong, and I don't think it's a bad spot. Coming in at number 9, we have the Chicago Bulls. Last year, they went 40 and 42, and they have a pretty good lineup. There's just one question mark. Lonzo Ball. He has been riddled. Bad injuries. Some say he might not even, play basketball for a long run, maybe not even play at all. I hope he gets back on the court because when he was with the Pelican, he just finally got it together, and his three ball was coming together nicely, and it was starting to show with the Bulls. I thought the Bulls would just run away. And even despite that, they still have a great starting three. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic. I mean, these guys can get it done. And I think they're going to have a pretty decent year. I think they'll do one better and go 41 and 41. Coming in the number 8 spot, we have the Atlanta Hawks. I really don't know what to make of them. I mean, they have such a star-studded lineup. Before we get to that, last year they went 41 and 41. They did make the playoffs as the number 7 seed after beating Miami, but they were gone. Like, as soon as they were in, they were out. So yeah, their best starting three is Trae Young, DeJounte Murray, and Clint Capella. They just recently lost John Collins. He went over to Utah. So I think as a small ball team, this is a very nice lineup, but how often is the small ball going to work? And I just don't know if it works for them. I mean, ever since the time they went to the conference championship, they haven't been the same team since. And so I think this year they're going to go 43 and 39. It's going to be a pretty good upgrade, but still, that play-in is going to be really tough. And then the last play-in team, coming at the number 7 spot, we have the Brooklyn Nets. So much as this team has fallen, it kind of has a rising point. So first of all, the falling was Kyrie Irving going to the Mavericks, James Harden, his departure going to the Philadelphia 76ers, who he's in limbo right now with the Sixers, and then lastly Kevin Durant to the Phoenix Suns. But they have this pretty young, decent, very promising lineup. Last year, after all that debacle of a season, as far as just the craziness behind the scenes, they went 45 and 37. But their starting three, their best three, is Mikal Bridges, Nicholas Claxton, and Cameron Johnson. They also have some pretty good defensive pieces with them, so I think they're going to be a tough team to count out. I think they're going to go 44 and 38 and host the top seed of the play-in, which is 7-8. They'd be hosting the Hawks, essentially. But a little bit downwards in record, but still a pretty good team, and one to definitely respect. Now we have the 6 teams that are being locked in. At number 6, we have the New York Knicks. The Knicks, they got something going. I mean, Jalen Brunson, that acquisition from the Mavericks, smart move. Honestly, that was a big move. I think he is going to blossom into this amazing player. He's already amazing. I mean, even better, obviously. Along with Julius Randle, who is an all-star, and RJ Barrett, who is on the overrated side, but still a pretty decent player. And that starting three last year went 47 and 35. That was a really good record. But I don't think it's going to be the same this year. I think they're going to go 45 and 37. It's still going to be, you know, a matchup in the playoffs without having to be in the play-in, but I just don't think they're going to be that much better. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have the Miami Heat, the team that made history as an 8th seed going to the NBA Finals. You cannot ever count these guys out in the playoffs. Once the playoffs get going, they're one of the toughest teams to beat, and it feels so weird. Like, as an 8th seed who lost to the Hawks in the play-in, they looked unstoppable. So last year, they went 44 and 38, made the Conference Championship, NBA Finals, even though they got rocked. Their 3 best players going into this year, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and Tyler Hero. Those 3 are going to do some damage this year, assuming Tyler Hero does not get traded at all. But we'll have to see. I think this year they're going to go 49 and 33. I mean, you cannot count out Jimmy Butler. He can turn it on at any moment, and he's so good. You don't think of him as one of the super supreme stars in the league, but he is definitely one of them. Now, the teams that will be hosting the first playoff series. Coming in the number 4 spot, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. A little bit of a shocker, but there is a lot of turmoil going on with the James Harden situation. Last year, they went 54 and 28, and Joel Embiid won MVP. And their 3 best players going into this year is Joel Embiid, James Harden, if he does play. But that's a what if. If not him, Tyrese Maxey would be the second best, and then Tobias Harris. Other than that, I think that the 76ers are going to definitely take a backseat this year. They're going to go 51 and 31. That's still a good record, but you'd want to host better. The number 3 spot I reserved for the Cleveland Cavaliers. What a shocker. Getting Donovan Mitchell changed life in Cleveland. They were sitting dormant for a little while, but they have such a young team with a veteran like Mitchell. They have what it takes. Last year, they went 51 and 31. Their 3 best players going into this year are Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and Evan Mobley. Young, bright stars. You also have a pretty good center, and just, you got good depth. I think they're going to go 53 and 29. I think Mitchell might be in the MVP talks. That's just a what if right now, but maybe. Coming at the number 2 spot is the Milwaukee Bucks. And this one's a little bit of a shocker for me because a lot of people are going to put this team at number 1, but not me. Obviously, the biggest of all timelines for them started with their first round exit, losing to the number 8 Miami Heat, but then just recently acquiring Damian Lillard. And Lillard, along with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Chris Middleton, is going to make one of the most destructive offensive trios in the league. Because what's going to end up happening is you need multiple players to stop Giannis down low. And if you manage to do that, well, guess what? Dame might be open, Chris Middleton might be open, and you're in big trouble if you can't figure out a way to get around that. And because of that, they went 58 and 24 last year. I say they're going to go 60 and 22 this year. And the number 1 team to me is the Boston Celtics. For one reason, they picked up Drew Holiday after the Damian Lillard trade. Great move. Amazing move. And I say that because I think Drew Holiday is a chemistry building player, and I love the chemistry that Boston's running. Last year, they went 57 and 25 as the 2nd seed. Their 3 best players going into this year is Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Drew Holiday. They also acquired Kristaps Porzingis, and they still have Al Horford. That's a strong starting 5. That's a starting 5 they're going with. And I think that they'll do one better than the Bucks, go 61 and 21. And this team is going to be such a tough out throughout the entire season. I think that between the two teams, the Celtics and the Bucks, it's really hard to say who's better, because even with Boston having a better record, in my opinion, that doesn't mean they're going to necessarily be the better team. But we'll have to find out. And that'll do it for today's episode. Again, all football content will be on TikTok, and my TikTok will be in the description below. As for all the NBA fans, get excited. This season is going to be great, and I'm going to try to watch as much basketball as I can. And most of the time, football content will be here on the YouTube channel, but I'll try to post as much basketball content, reaction stuff, just kind of how I feel about basketball in some ways on TikTok, so pay attention to both. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and if you do, please leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. Tell me what you think about the intro that I have now. I made it in class, and hopefully, I don't know if it's going to be a long-term intro, but we'll see how long I have it, unless something else gets better. I don't know. Go follow me on all of my social medias, and yeah, that'll do it. Hope you guys have a great day. Take care, and goodbye.